Since I started last week's vlog with showing my TBR, I thought I would show my progress here and what I want to get to at least the beginning of this week. So all the ones I've highlighted are the ones that I've finished. And I have a second page here with my middle grade. And so for this week, I want to finish listening to Blueberry Muffin Murder. I'm also going to be starting Almost Midnight and Open Season. These are just based on what's going to be due at my library, so that's why I'm picking those. And then I'm also going to be reading How We Fight for Our Lives. And I'm going to be starting Grant. And I'm, of course, going to be continuing on with Cold Warriors. I'm reading one chapter a day, kind of, sort of. And Outlander, I'm reading two chapters a day for a buddy read. And then this is a big, wonderful thing, a huge book about Texas, the history of Texas, that I'm listening to every now and then on audio. And then as for middle grade, the books I want to get to this week, Girl in Blue is a book I just started, actually like 10 minutes ago. And this is a book I got from my little free library that's nearby, and I just started it. And it seems to be a pretty quick read. It's about a girl who's living in Michigan, and she's on a farm, and her dad wants her. This is during the Civil War, it's like 1960s, no, 1860s, and he wants her to marry a cruel farmer to help out on his farm, and so she wants to escape that, and so she decides to join the army because she's grown up learning how to shoot for to provide food on the table, like with hunting deer, and so she's always felt like a tomboy, and so she thinks she would do well in the army, and so join with everyone else that she knows. And so yeah, I just started this, and yeah, so I'm gonna be reading that one. And then what else am I reading this week? Charlotte's Web and Pippi Longstocking are due soon, so I'm gonna be reading those. Finally getting to some children's classics. And then A Long Way from Chicago is another one I want to get to. And as I mentioned when I was creating my TBR, almost all of the middle grade are audiobooks, and so I'm going to be flying through a lot of these, I'm sure. But yeah, we'll see how this week goes. And then a book that I finished, I started and finished this morning, was a love-inspired suspense novel, Sherry Shackelford's No Safe Place, and I really, really enjoyed this. I've read love-inspired before, but I haven't read the suspense line, and yeah, I was very happily surprised at how much I enjoyed this. It's the main character is a forensic accountant, and it opens up you get right into the action, and she is working for a company that has Cayman Island overseas accounts that look very fishy, so when she's there, she's already sending out an email with all this information for the company to the FBI, and but immediately there's the terrorists are on her, and so she's on the run, and so she gets involved with an FBI agent who, no, not FBI agent, a Homeland Security agent who is watching her because she looks suspicious. So he thinks she is a part of that group, but she isn't. And so they're on the run. The whole book is them going from Chicago to Minneapolis to Wisconsin. And so yeah, this is a picture of a corn maze, and there is a corn maze there. They go to a harvest festival, and so yeah, it made me kind of claustrophobic feeling them running through the corn maze, being chased by these bad guys. So yeah, really enjoyed that. I'm for sure going to be picking more up from this love-inspired suspense. And I was looking at the back of the book, the acknowledgments, and Sherry was saying how this is her first adventure into writing for the suspense line. She normally does historical fiction, and so I'm going to be looking out more from her the suspense line, and then going back and looking at some of her historical fiction books. So yeah, those are my. I don't want to see staring at this pillow here, but yeah, so those are my plans for this weekend, and we'll see how I do. Hi guys, it's Sunday still, around 9 o'clock, and I thought I would film a quick little clip here to talk about what I did today. I don't know about you, but the time change always throws me off, especially when you lose an hour. I have felt tired and just out of sorts all day long. It's probably going to take me a couple of days to adjust. But and I also didn't do much today. Like normally I go on long walks like you see on on my vlogs. But yeah, I just couldn't do it. So I just took Tucker to the little local dog park here, and there was no one there, but he could just like walk around and smell and just be outside for a bit. But yeah, so I just sat around and read. And I feel like I read pretty slowly today, just because I was just tired, and I think ever since Thursday night when I had the horrible neighbor mess up my sleep, ever since then I just haven't felt like I caught up, and then losing an hour didn't help at all. But anyway, so as far as what I've read, I already talked about No Safe Place. I started and finished that book this morning, and then I went on to start Girl in Blue by Anne Rinaldi, and I guess she's written. Oh, I just lost my place. Written quite a few young adult books, and this came out in 2001. I just happened to find it at my local free library. But yes, this book, like, I don't know if you can tell, like how mass market paperbacks with the font being like right into the seam there. It's so hard and difficult to read. I'm having to like pry the book open and like bend it back and everything just to read it. And this book has been read before, because every chapter or so I see pages folded over. So yeah, it's just like one of those stiff spines, and like with the writing right in there. I'm like, oh, it's so annoying, but I'm enjoying the book. Sorry for the shaky camera. I'm like holding my phone in my hand. But it's about a young girl who she's in Michigan, and she's 16 years old, and her father wants her to marry like a farmer that's like right beside, so he can just get like the free labor basically, and he doesn't really care and doesn't want to hear about her opinion of this guy who is not the best guy. And so she runs away and goes and joins the army, the Union side, during the Civil War. Sorry, Winnie's right here. I can get her in the picture here. She's been with me all day long, and she's not helping me feel less tired, because she's like warm and cozy and just makes me want to sleep all day long. But anyway, so she's joined the army, and she decides she wants to fight. She doesn't just want to be a nurse or anything. And so she goes off to war, and it's surprisingly a bit gory, like the battle scenes. Like the author doesn't really shy away from anything. But yeah, I'm enjoying it, except just not this experience. I mean, I can read mass markets, but I think I'm particular because I don't read a lot of them now. Like before I read ebooks, I almost solely read mass markets because they're affordable, they're cheaper for me to buy it, and so yeah. But I'm like out of the loop with reading them, and so I'm like, oh yeah, I remember what's so annoying about these. And then I just started just now Ruth Galloway series by Ellie Griffiths. And I'm reading the first one, and this is just the cover of all three. And does the first one have a name? The Crossing Places. And I'm on chapter 3, and it's about a forensic archaeologist who it opens up. The prologue opens up with her finding like bones that are buried on a beach that used to be marshlands, and so she's thinking it's from like the Iron Age, because there was like a metal necklace found. And so yeah, we'll see what happens. The detective who found the bones was hoping that it's a young girl who died 10 years ago, so she's going to do like the carbon dating to find out. So I have a feeling it's going to be it's going to be the young girl that died 10 years ago, but excuse me, but we'll see. And then I also started Outlander. I meant to start it yesterday, but time got away from me, and so because we're supposed to read 2 chapters a day for a buddy read I'm doing, so I read all 4 chapters today, and I'm really liking it. I feel like it's at first I was like, how does she go? Because it's like a time traveling book, and like how does she go back in time? And so chapter 2 led to that. It's all like I was all eager to start chapter 3, and yeah, I'm liking like the fast paced movement, and like the characters feel very real, and so yeah, I'm enjoying it. And so now I'm gonna sit here and watch some book 2, because I am really tired. It's only like 9 o'clock, and I'm like, yeah, it's time for me to stop reading and start relaxing and watching some TV because I haven't done that much today. I spent like 30 minutes watching booktube. The rest of the time I was reading or like half nodding off with Winnie here, and she's been on my lap, and she's like she does those cute like cat twitches. I was hoping to get on camera, but since she's right on my lap, I if I move, then she's gonna wake up. But she was like doing the cat like this. She's dreaming her feet are like sorry, my camera cut off on me. But yeah, I was thinking she's doing the cute the cat dreaming, and so yeah, she's really not helping me stay awake throughout the day. But I managed to do it, and so yeah, now I'm off to watch some booktube and relax, and hopefully when I check in tomorrow, I'll be a lot better rested. And of course, Winnie, she's gonna have lots of naps in her future. So yeah, she's always gonna be ready to ready to be on camera.
Hi guys, it is now Monday around 6 o'clock and it's daylight outside, so that's cool. But what's not so cool is, like, I'm sure like a lot of you, I am exhausted. Like, I have like bags under my eyes. My eyes feel kind of like grainy, and I've just been tired all day long. It's gonna take me a couple of days to get used to this time change, but I'm loving how it's daylight longer. I mean, I'm at my local dog park because I was just too tired to do my normal walking around like an hour after work because I had no energy. So I'm like, my dog will just walk around here and enjoy himself, and can still smell the outdoors and all of that. The books, I only finished one book today so far. That's How We Fight for Ourselves, something like that, for the Book 2 prize by Sadie Jones. It's a memoir. Here Tucker is, he's in the background here. I finished that book on audio. It was really quick, and I will review it at the end of the month. And then now I'm listening to A Big Wonderful Thing, a huge book about Texas. I've been just dabbling in and out of this audiobook because I've been focusing on all my other audiobooks, because I've been listening. Most of my audiobook listening this month is focused on the middle grade books because I had to divvy it all out because I have too much going on. So my mystery, I think I've mentioned those before, but recap, my mystery books are mainly ebooks, and then my mammoths are ebooks and physical books, and then my audiobook listening time is mostly devoted to children's books. So yeah, I haven't put much time into listening to The Big Wonderful Thing, but I mean, we're on week 2 and I need to get some listening done there because it's like, I think right now I'm at like 24 hours left to go. So yeah, lots of listening to go. I have a full day's worth. But yeah, once we get back from the dog park, I'm probably going to read some more of Outlander. I need to finish my 2 chapters for today. And yeah, I think which is my last talk on yesterday. But I'm really enjoying it. It's a bit like the Scottish Highlanders are a bit more gruff and rough than I was expecting. But yeah, I didn't know anything about it going in, but now that I know what the tone is, I think I'll be okay with it. I'm more adjusted to that. And so yeah, I'm going to read some of that, and then I'm going to continue on with the Ellery. I should have like a picture of some of these books up here. The Ruth Galloway series, book 1, Crossing Places, something like that. I'll talk more later about that book, but yeah, I'm going to continue on with that. I just read a bit on my lunch break at work, and it's about a forensic archaeologist who is working on some bones that were found, and the cops were hoping that it was a young girl. And so yeah, I think I mentioned that already, but I read a bit more in, and yeah, they're still thinking it's not the young girl, but I'm sure she's going to pop up sometime. so we'll find out. Hopefully she's still alive. I mean, that would be great. Not a bag of bones. And so yeah, that's my plans. Hopefully I can stay awake and get some reading done instead of like just crashing on the couch. We'll see. My boyfriend's he's asleep on his recliner. He's out. So I'm like, I won't bother him. I'll just, do my own thing. So yeah, which is nice. Like, I can like film videos and talk while he's asleep because he's deaf, and so that's a plus in that regard, because I don't wake him up doing whatever I have to do. So yeah. Anyways, I'll talk to you soon.
Hi guys, it is now 4:30 on Friday, and I apologize for the lapse in the videos this week.
I think I filmed my last couple on Monday, and so yeah. And I think I talked about how tired I was, and that just continued on until Thursday, and then Thursday was a bit chaotic because my work decided to like close down the office for at least the next 2 weeks, and so I'm working from home, and so yeah, but I spent my morning and afternoon doing today, and yeah, I liked it because I avoided that commute, and so yeah, it was nice to have Winnie here for company and put it on a bit so you can see her. Have Winnie for company instead of like co-workers who are doing their own thing. So yeah, she kept me company, and yeah, I had a really nice day because instead of like sitting at my desk eating lunch, I was able to walk Tucker, and so that was nice. I didn't film anything, but I do plan to film this weekend going on walks because spring is in the air, and so there's lots of like little buds on the trees and the bushes, and so I want to get a couple clips or pictures of that. But yeah, as far as my week, yeah, I was just trying to sleep as best I could and read as much as I could, and yeah, and just take it easy. So yeah, I'm just gonna bombard you here with all the books I've read so far this week. I read a lot because a lot of them were children's books, and yeah, I don't like on audio. They tend to be around 4 hours, and I have to listen to like a 1.5 speed. I don't know, but it's like brings it down to 3 hours or a little bit, maybe something like that. So yeah, the first one I finished, and I don't know if I mentioned this already. The Crossing Places by Ellie Griffiths. It's a Ruth Galloway series. This is the first book in the series, and it's about a forensic archaeologist, and there's these bones that are discovered, but they end up being like from like the Iron Age. So it's not this little girl that's died, but she eventually does help out investigating the murder. And overall, I don't know if I'll be continuing. I don't think I'll be continuing on the series just because it. Sorry, Winnie. I think I'm knocking on her head here, but because it was written very slowly, like it was very slow paced. It dragged a bit, but maybe the next one will be better. I don't know. It didn't have that right pace. I think. And I won't spend too much time on these books because I have quite a few to mention. I then finished Assailants, Assault, and Alibis by Tonya Kappas. And this is a camper and criminals cozy mystery, book 8. And I read the first one because that was chosen for last year's like group read. But my library only goes from 1 to 8, and I think 8, 9, or 10 or something is what they have. So yeah, I've jumped through quite a bit, and the first book, she was like setting up her RV campground, and in this one, it's well on its way of being a real contributing part of the community. Bringing in tourists, and so a lot of this, has like her friends and the group are from the community, and so in this one, they're going on a treasure hunt, and all sorts of mayhem happen. And so what I like about this one is it didn't just focus on the main detective, because she was in this, she was like camping while she was on this treasure hunt with this like sticky, humid Kentucky woods, and so yeah, so she was camping with this group, and so the whole group was involved in solving the mystery, and so yeah, I liked it a lot, and I like the covers. Like each of the covers in the series has a different like camper with a different color scheme. Like there's a green one, a yellow one, with like the background is the same color as the RV. And then I finished My Long Way from Chicago by Richard Peck, and this is part of the middle grade books that I'm reading, and this was delightful. I read previously about Richard Peck, Here Comes the Librarian, something librarian in the cover, and yeah, he has like a funny, interesting take on the world, I feel like, and so this one, it's about these grandkids that come and visit their grandma every summer, and it follows them through multiple summers, and the grandma is just a hoot. She in the community where she's living, she's kind of like shunned, and so she, I don't know, kind of plays pranks in a way on the community, and people who she feels like are stuck up. But the kids like learn a lot through listening to the grandma's stories. They learn about history. They learn about how to be a human, and so yeah, I really enjoyed it. I listened to this on audio, but I do want to pick up a physical copy and read it because I think I get a lot more out of it that way as well. And sorry for it's kind of like a dark cover here, but I had to lower the light so you don't get too much of a glare here. So yeah, and then I read Artemis Fowl, the first book in the series by, I don't know how to pronounce it, Ewan Colfer.
This one is about a young boy who's, I think he's 12 years old, and he's a millionaire, but he's also the bad guy in the story. And then he's like searching for like these fairies, and like as part of the leprechaun group. Um, I did not like this at all, unfortunately. The writing I thought was really bad, and just the messages that he had throughout the story. I'm talking basically it's about how humans are destroying the world, and you very like talk about about the environment and like with pollution and things like that. But just the messages weren't subtle at all, and it was just constantly like beaten over your head. And yeah, I just didn't enjoy it, unfortunately. I know this is a popular series, but I was hoping to like it, but yeah, I did not. I then read Almost Midnight by Paul Doran. This is the 10th book, and wait for it to load, the 10th book in the Mike Bowditch series. And this is about a game warden in Maine, and he has like been promoted to an officer investigator. And so this one, it's like a dual story in here. On one side, on one part of the story, you have how he was involved with finding a wolf hybrid who escaped his house, and or not his house, his protection, and was like on the run in the wild, and he was pairing up with a female wolf. But anyway, long story short with that is he gets shot with a crossbow, and so Mike Bowditch is trying to find out who shot this wolf, not to prosecute the person involved, but just he wants to end the story and a conclusion to that, and so that the female wolf won't get hurt. And then the other plot line in this is this like old time friend that he had. He was put to he ended up in jail because he was protecting himself. Him and Mike Bowditch were fighting together, and he like this rage, like PTSD he had from fighting in the Iraq War. He like took it a step too far and was he ended up killing someone. And so Mike always felt a little bit like self-conscious, but he felt guilty for in court talking about this, and so leading to his friend being put in prison. Even though he knows it's the right thing to do. And so there's the whole storyline of what's happening in this prison, because there's corrupt officers and people involved. And so there's most of the thriller of mystery of this is following that storyline. So yeah, I really liked it. I've read several of the books in these series, and I plan to continue on. Because I really like the scenic atmosphere. It's in this book, it's going from winter to spring, and so it's like very muddy. And he talks about how it's like icing. He goes all over Maine, so I feel like I'm learning a bit about Maine, like on the coast. He goes like to northern Maine and goes to the mountains, and so yeah, I think it's interesting. And then just this morning, I finished Pippi Longstocking by Astrid Lindgren, and I really want this edition. I listened to it on audio, but yeah, I love this cover. It's about a young girl who she's on her own, and she has her very unique way of living, and I just love her personality and her outlook on life. And she has a monkey called Mr. Watson, and so yeah, and she ends up going to school, and she's like, teacher, why are you asking me these questions? You know the answer. Leave me alone. I'm going to play on this playground here. And so yeah, this is just a fun joy to read. And then I just finished up right before making this video, The Sandman by Lars Kepler. This is the 4th book in the Juna Lina. I'm not pronouncing that right, I know. It's a Swedish name. But I've been reading this off and on for the last 2 weeks while at work, waiting for different things, and in the car, waiting. So yeah, 5 minutes here and there. And I think the way it was written lended itself to that pretty well, because the chapters were very, very short, and so it was constant, it moved along with the plot. And it's about Juna Wana. I don't know how to pronounce it. The Swedish version of that, but he is an investigator, and there are these serial killers. Not serial killers. Still, some of them are found dead. These bodies. These people, but others are found trapped in graves, trapped in train cars, things like that. And so it's basically a serial killer who is was found 13 years ago and put away in like an intensive like prison ward. But these people who are related to the people who have already died, like their like the nieces and the aunts and sisters and all that, still are coming to find out that they're missing, that they're found dead, they're found really sick, and so, but he's in prison. So how is this happening? And so it's all about, finding out the story of that. And this was kind of creepy in a way. The Sandman is all about, because some of them were found like kept for 13 years in a dark cell. And so he's like, the Sandman is coming to put me to sleep. So yeah, it was like dark and but I really liked it. And I think it's a wife and husband duo that they've made for this name. And I think there's quite a few books in the series, and so I'm going to continue on when I'm in the mood for like a dark, like Swedish thriller. Let's see. And then the last book I finished while I was listening to this while I was working today, Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. And I've never read this book. I remember seeing it all the time at the library at my school, at my elementary school. But it was so well read. It's so beloved that I never picked it up because it just looked too tattered and grimy. I think my library probably needed a new copy of this book. So yeah, I don't know, I just never read it because of that. But I have seen like the cartoon movie version of this, and yeah, I love the message in this. I don't know if I can really explain this too much, so I'm sure a lot of you know the story. But it's about a pig named Wilbur who finds out he's kind of like on the chopping block in a way. They're fattening him up. Excuse me. And so the Charlotte the spider comes and helps him out, like putting messages like "some pig" and "terrific" and all that to make him stand out, and so make the owners realize that recognize that that the pig is worth more than just bacon or ham. And so yeah, I really enjoyed this story. And there's quite a few books by E.B. White that I want to read. I've read a couple, but I think she has a lot, and so yeah, I really like this author. But so yeah, those are all the books I've read this week so far. I'm gonna do a better job tomorrow of actually vlogging. But yeah, I don't know. It just happens sometimes. I mean, we all have bad weeks, and I think a lot of us are in like hectic lifestyles right now. I don't know what's happening, but yeah, I hope everyone stays healthy, and I hope I stay healthy. And like now that I think I'm gonna be able to get some sleep. Well, at least the last 2 nights I got some sleep, and so if I can get like steady sleep, that won't hopefully won't affect my immune system too much, where I'll be more susceptible to germs and all that. But yeah, anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Good morning, BookTube. It's around 7:30 on Saturday, and I just finished reading Claudia and Min Janine, book 7 in the Babysitters Club series, and I'm reading this, and Winnie is just like, pay attention to me. I was holding the book and she was like pushing her face underneath my arm just so I could pet her instead of holding this book here. But I really like this book. It's focusing on Claudia, who is like the artsy, cool, hip sister, and then Janine, who's like the aspiring physicist who is obsessed with her computer and doing schoolwork. It mainly focuses on the grandmother, Mimi, who has been talked about a couple of times throughout the series. And she suffers from a stroke. And so Claudia has to take time off from her babysitter duties. They set up, it's taking place over the summer. So the Babysitters Club sets up a summer camp, but she has to take time off from that to take care of her grandmother. And so I think this was a really good layered story. There's a lot going on with the Babysitters Club and then the sister rivalry and taking care of the grandma. And yeah, I really liked it. I think this is the first, outside of Stacy having diabetes, this is like the first serious subject I think that's been handled so far. And I mean, that's serious, but first really sad, devastating thing that can happen. And so yeah, we'll see how it goes. Now I'm going to be reading Greg Orowitz, Orphan X. See, she turns the pages on me. How can I read? She's flipping the pages. But yeah, I don't know if this is a weird Lindsay thing or what, but I don't know. I can easily finish one book and then immediately start the next one. So yeah, I'm gonna go immediately into Orphan X, and like my board is constantly asking me about this. Like, how can you do that? I don't know. Like, is it just me, or I'm curious to know other fellow book readers. Can you dive right into another book right away after finishing another one? But for me, it feels I would compare it to like watching a TV show, and then the show finishes, and then you go on to reading. I'm not reading, watching a different show, and so yeah, that's how I do. No, that's how I do. That's yeah, how it doesn't happen all the time, but pretty frequently, if I have the time, like a Saturday, then yeah, I'm completely fine with diving into the next one. So yeah, this is a thriller. It's about I haven't started it yet, obviously, but it seems to be about an orphan who gets taken into a training school to be an assassin, and he escapes and uses those skills to disappear. But someone's chasing him, and he thinks it's someone maybe from the same school because they have like the same abilities. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this, like, because all the reviews on Goodreads so this just flies by, and so maybe I'll finish it today. But yeah, you'll find out if I do. Now, hopefully, Winnie here will leave me alone so I can get to this book. She seems to be calmed down now. Maybe it's breakfast that she wants. I don't know. But often she just comes here for attention. Even after she eats breakfast, she comes here and just wants attention. Hi guys, so I wanted to end the vlog with Winnie here, but no, I'm showing you where I'm at with my March Madness Craziness TBR. So yeah, the pinks are all the ones I've finished. And for Orphan X, I ended up DNFing it. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in this vlog or not, but I talked about it on my Friday reads plans, and yeah, I just absolutely hated it. The main character was very unrelatable and didn't have much personality except wanting like rare steak and the parsley that's snipped from his living wall that's dripped, water dripped, and I mean, it was just not for me. It was kind of like James Bond-esque, but no personality, and yeah, it was too slow too. I read like 3 or 4 chapters, and yeah, gave up on it. But so this is where I'm at. And I didn't talk about I haven't marked on here like where I'm at currently with some of these. With some of these books I'm currently reading. But so as far as I wanted to talk about my week, I read 3,461 pages. That's just a bit more than last week. And again, these page numbers don't include, she's very curious about this, don't include the books I'm currently reading. This is just the books I finished. So 494 pages per day, and I read 13 books because I read quite a few children's books. And she's going to sit on this here. But this Lumberjanes, I ended up having to, I just switched Yotsuba to Lumberjanes because this one was due back at my library. And I don't know if my library is going to close or not. They haven't talked about it, but I'm just going to assume they're going to do that. And so I didn't want to have this book like hanging out here at home and me forgetting about it or whatever. So I do have Lumberjanes on Hoopla. So I'm going to read that instead. And even though Lumberjanes focuses on, it's like a camp ground for girls, for teenagers, I still think it's very much acceptable reading for middle grade. So yeah, that's what I'm switching it up to. So yeah, until next week.